Hello everyone. This is why hustle culture is stupid. It is bad because it's not the most effective way to hustle. But I mean, I haven't succeeded yet, so how is some guy who's never succeeded gonna tell you how it was the right way to succeed? Where succeed is just hit your goals, which requires hustling. Well, I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna use evidence. There's people out there who have succeeded despite having relationships, having happiness in their life, having fun, and not just grinding all the time. And I'll also use personal anecdotes about how, I reckon the enjoyment I have actually makes me more likely to succeed, as well as making me enjoy it more. But why does everyone even say this to begin with? I think it is because it's easiest to succeed when you're not happy and you just hustle, because that's you don't have to do all the internal reflection and everything. You don't have to actually I think just a lot of people, because internal reflection is hard, a lot of people just don't do it. And so if only 10% of people do that, then maybe, let's say, and 90% of people don't, then maybe 70% of really, really successful people won't have done that internal work. So it'll be more people who are successful are just people who aren't that happy and everything, or they're happy but they're not optimized really, but there will still be, and the reason they're the majority is just because they're the massive majority of people. And so they're going to make up the majority of successful people, but they'll be underrepresented in successful people relative to their size, which just means if it was equal, then there'd be even more successful people. If you think about it, I think, there's more successful happy people than there is unsuccessful happy people. I don't know if that's actually correct, but I reckon. That's just because happiness makes you more likely to succeed, if you ask me. I don't really know about that one, I guess, because I don't know, that might not be true, but but I think when it comes to being successful in your own life, just from my life, I've been the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to really, really work hard when I'm not spending time with my partner. And so yesterday I just planned videos for 5.5 hours straight with no breaks. Was that optimal? Yes, because if I didn't really need a break, I was able to concentrate for that long. Maybe if I'd had a break, I would have come back and able to concentrate more, but I honestly don't think so. I don't know, maybe. Probably actually, but only because it's deep creative work. For most types of work, you don't need breaks. Once you get used to it, you should just keep pushing. For editing, you don't need breaks. Only really deep thinking and learning, studying you need breaks. My point though is that if I did that all day every day, I get burnt out, and in the long run, let's say I do YouTube for another 3 years, I'm going to give up because I'm going to be working really hard and not seeing any results. Whereas if I work slightly less hard, so let's say 1 out of 7 days of the week, I'm just relaxing all day. So I'm working 1/7 less as hard. I think the maths is right on that. It's not even that, because I'm not spending all of the other 6 days. Oh wait, no, so it's more than that actually. It's more than less than 1/7, yes. It's more like 1/6, which is a bigger amount if you do the maths. But anyway, a certain fraction, a small fraction still, having fun, that's meeting the requirements of my enjoyment, so I'm not burning out. which means that in 3 years, I'll have achieved like a small fraction less, like 1/7 less or something. Or because of compounding, it'll actually probably be a lot less, but I'm not going to give up. And so I'll be able to keep going, which is ultimately going to compound even more. And so if you ask me, the way to succeed is to work as much as possible that is actually maintainable. And you can only really find that out if you actually push to the limits and you test it. And the only way you're going to test it and push to those limits is if you are a little bit unhappy for some of the time. But I think that's worth it if you ask me. Now, when you shouldn't test and push those limits is like if you've got a partner, you should be testing and pushing the opposite limits. So like, or you should really just be testing like how the relationship helps and paying attention to that. You shouldn't be, like, I don't know, neglecting your relationship, if you ask me. But when you're single, that's the time to test the limits, because I don't think you want to throw away a good relationship if it's come along. If you never fully optimize your productivity, and maybe you should be working slightly more and giving slightly less time to your relationship, then I think it's okay if you never figure that out. As long as, like, if figuring that out would come at the cost of your relationship, because I think the relationship is, like, a good relationship is a bit too valuable to just be throwing away for the sake of maybe becoming more productive. So that's my view on it. And then I think another thing to mention is that, like, you guys probably heard this before, but like the most successful people all have a platform. And if most of the successful people, if most people in general are just hustlers, then that narrative is going to be the most popular one on social media. And because of echo chambers, because social media just reinforces your beliefs, it's just going to make that worse for the average person. And it's not like the happy people who are successful are somehow going to, like, be successful and then be like, yeah, this is actually what you should do instead. You should be happy, because like that content's only going to get shown to people who already believe that. Like, at the end of the day, most of the time, like, social media does not change our beliefs. It just continues us down the way we're already going. And that's kind of in general. I don't think people really change our beliefs. I think we're kind of on a set trajectory, so to speak, like, in a way, unless something happens to prove to us that our belief is bad for us or wrong in some way, such as, like, if we believe that we should only have money and then money doesn't make us happy after years, then eventually we're going to stop going down that path. But only once we see the fruits of our labor, not from other people really telling us, if you ask me. Sometimes, yes, if we actually, like, are really opening to listening, then we'll see that, but, like, that takes a very long time, and I don't think it happens as the rule. I think it's the exception. Okay, so yeah, what else? So yeah, I guess if you're watching this, I guess I'll talk about burnout very, very briefly. Burnout is when if you ask me, it's when your mindset doesn't match how hard you're working. So instead of working less hard, try and improve your mindset. And what I mean by mindset is, like, the joy and the meaning you find in the work. So I would try and enhance the meaning, and that isn't all just mental, like, changing the way you think about it. It's also finding ways where you can actually see the meaning. So for me, making YouTube, if I was getting burnt out, I'd start reading the comments more, because that is a way for me to see the impact I'm having. And maybe I'd spend a minute just, like, visualizing, like, for every like I get, I'd visualize myself watching a video and being so happy with it that I like it. So, that would give me more meaning. That's not necessarily a mindset change. A mindset change might be thinking, like, well, I'm getting better every day that I do this, something like that. So that's how you avoid burnout, if you ask me. And so when it comes to hustling in general, my advice would be, if you're burnt out, try improving your mindset. If you're still burnt out, maybe you need to work less, and that would actually make you happier and make it more sustainable. But there's kind of a balance to be found there. You should be trying to do the right amount of, like, working and not working, but at the same time, you should always be trying to maximize your mindset and the meaning you're getting from work, so that you don't need to have as much enjoyment time, because ideally the work should be as enjoyable as possible. You'll never reach a point though where the work is so enjoyable that you can just absolutely neglect relationships and just not have anything, no social life, like nothing other than life. I don't think that will work very well for most people. It will for some, but yeah, not for most. So that's my advice, and I hope that helped, and have a great day.